Welcome to my YouTube channel, CV Study Circle. Let's go to an important topic in demand analysis. ಈ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂತಹ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. That is elasticity of demand. Especially price elasticity of demand. First of all, let's understand what's the meaning of this concept, elasticity of demand. ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಮೊದಲು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. And we know that the demand function ಅಥವಾ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಬಿಂಬಕ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ, it shows the relationship between the demand and the determinants of demand. ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಧರಿಸುವಂತಹ ಅಂಶಗಳು, ಇವುಗಳ ಸಂಬಂಧವನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಬಿಂಬಕ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. We know that demand depends on various factors and these factors are called determinants of demand, and the determinants are price of a commodity, price of related goods, income of the consumer, taste, preference, advertisement, and all that. Mainly, we have got three important determinants. One is the price of a commodity, the price of related goods, substitutes, or what is that? Price of related good and income of the consumer. ಇವು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ let's see what's the meaning of elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand, ED, refers to the measure. How do we measure? Of course, the law of demand tells that there is inverse relationship between demand and price. And that doesn't tell how much does it change. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಲೆಯು ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿನ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯನ್ನು ತರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ತರ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟು ಮೆಜರ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿವ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. ಸೊ elasticity of demand refers to the measure of responsiveness of demand. How does demand respond to the changes in price? ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿನ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವು ಹೇಗೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯಿಸ್ತದೆ? How does it respond? So it is a measure of responsiveness of demand to the changes in the price of, in the changes in the determinants, any one of the determinants of demand. Again, I repeat it, elasticity of demand refers to the it's a measure of responsiveness of demand to the changes in any one of the determinants of demand. This is definition. And we have got three concepts in elasticity of demand. One, PED, that is price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand, that is the measure of responsiveness of demand to the changes in price of a commodity. ಒಂದು ಸರಕಿನ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿನ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯು ಆ ಸರಕಿಗಾಗಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿನ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಳೆಯುವಂತ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, PED. Coming to another type of concept, PID, or say, yes, income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand. That means it is a measure of responsiveness of demand to the changes in the income of the consumer. ಅನುಭೋಗಿಯ ಆದಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಗಾಗಿ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯನ್ನ ಅಳೆಯೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Another one is CED. CED, that is cross elasticity of demand. ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಈ ಮೂರು ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿಗಳು ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು PED, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು YED. ಇನ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಐ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ವೈ. ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗೆ ವೈ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪದ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಕೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್. ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸೋಲ್ಲ, ಜ್ಞಾಪ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ YED, CED, that is cross elasticity of demand. So it is a measure of responsiveness of demand to the changes in the price of substitute. ಬದಲಿ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಸರಕಿನ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ತಿಳಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So again I repeated that there are three types of concepts in elasticity of demand. One is price elasticity of demand. Second one is income elasticity of demand, that is YED. Third one is CED, that is cross elasticity of demand. We are not worried about these two. We are worried about price elasticity of demand. ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಮಿಕ್ಕವು ಎರಡು, ಯಾವುದು YED, CED, ಇವು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮಗೆ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು, ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಸೊ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಇರ್ತವೆ ಅದನ್ನ, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ PED, ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್? ಸೊ you know, price elasticity of demand is measured in terms of percentage. ಶೇಕಡಾವಾರು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು PED ಅನ್ನು ಅಳಿತೇವೆ. we measure the PED in terms of percentage. So you just see PED is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. 2 marks questions ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. Write the formula of PED. PED is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Symbolically, algebraically, you can write this as, see, PED is equal to delta Q divided by delta P into Q divided by P. Delta Q means change in quantity demanded, delta P change in price of a commodity, and Q is the initial quantity demanded, and P is the initial price. Now, artha aitala? Again, suppose you are write the formula of elasticity, price elasticity of demand. PED is equal to delta change, that is Q, delta Q divided by delta P into Q divided by P. Delta Q, it refers to change in quantity demanded, delta P change in price, Q, that is initial quantity demanded, P initial price. So you must keep all these things in your mind. Let's go to very, very important types of price elasticity, types of classifications. How many classifications are there in price elasticity of demand? ಜ್ಞಾಪ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇದನ್ನ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೂ one must know. A student of economics should know these 5 classifications of price elasticity of demand. Right? Okay. Number 1, perfectly elasticity of demand. Perfectly inelasticity. Number 3, relatively elasticity. Number 4, relatively inelasticity. Number 5, unitary elasticity. So these are the 5 classifications of price elasticity of demand. We have understood the concept of price elasticity. Price elasticity refers to the measure of responsiveness of demand to the changes in price of a commodity. And we know the formula of price elasticity. It is measured in terms of percentage. PED is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price of a commodity. Algebraically, it can be written as PED is equal to delta Q divided by delta P into P divided by P. Now, write the classifications of PED, price elasticity of demand, ಅಂತ 2 marks questions ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. They are perfectly elasticity of demand, perfectly inelasticity of demand, relatively elasticity of demand, relatively inelasticity of demand, and unitary elasticity of demand. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? ಈಗ with the help of diagrams, we can explain the different classifications of price elasticity of demand. Number 1, you take up this one, that is perfectly elasticity of demand. Here you see Q, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q3. So 5. So I have written one diagram here. Please see the diagram. This is OY, this is OX. A slight change in price leads to infinite change in demand. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿನ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯು ಅನಂತವಾದಂತಹ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯನ್ನು ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ. A slight change in price leads to infinite change in demand, quantity demanded. ನೆನಪ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ, how is the shape of the demand curve? The demand curve is horizontal. ನೆನಪ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. If the demand curve is horizontal, it shows perfectly elasticity of demand. Here you can write PED is infinite. PED is infinite in case of perfectly elasticity of demand. A slight change in price of a commodity leads to infinite change in quantity demanded. Here you see only a small change in price. This is price. This is quantity. That leads to infinite change in quantity demanded. And the symbol is PED is equal to infinite. And how is the shape of the demand curve in this case? It is horizontal. Got it? Coming to the second one. This is OX, this is OY, and this is the demand curve. This is the price. This is the quantity. So in this case, whatever may be the change in price, there will not be any change in demand. ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆದ್ರೂ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಂಥದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್. Here the demand curve is horizontal. PED is equal to 0. Here PED is equal to infinite. Right? In perfectly elasticity of demand, the demand curve is horizontal. In perfectly inelasticity of demand, the demand curve is vertical, and PED is equal to 0. Coming to a third one. So this is the price. So 5% of change in price leads to larger percentage of change in demand. So it leads to 10% of change in demand. So this Q1. This is P1. It shows relatively elasticity of demand. A small amount of change in price leads to a larger change in ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್, ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಡಿಮಾಂಡೆಡ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಕೇವಲ 5% ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 10% ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ PED ಈಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 1. PED is greater than 1. PED is equal to infinite. PED is equal to 0. Here PED is greater than 1, and the demand curve is flattened. Did you understand? The demand curve is flattened here. This is the demand curve. Right? Coming to the fourth one. This is the demand curve, and demand curve is steeper. Demand curve is steeper. So 10% change in price of a commodity leads to only 5% change in quantity demanded. So the demand curve is steeper. Demand curve is flattened. ಇಲ್ಲಿ PED is lesser than 1. PED is lesser than, relatively inelasticity of demand. Coming to the last one. %10 change in price brings about 10% change, equal amount of change. That is called unitary elasticity of demand. Here PED is equal to 1. That seems to be, the curve seems to be rectangular hyperbola. It will be like that. Right? In this case, there will be equal percentage of change in both price and demand. ಪ್ರೈಸು ಮತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮನಾದಂತಹ ಶೇಕಡಾವಾರು ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳು ಆಗ್ತವೆ. Again, I recap it here. There are 5 classifications of price elasticity of demand. One is perfectly elasticity of demand, where the demand curve is horizontal and PED is equal to infinite. And another perfectly inelasticity of demand, where the demand curve is vertical. Whatever may be the changes in price, there will not be any change in quantity demanded. Coming to the third one, relatively elasticity of demand. A larger percentage of change in price leads to a smaller percentage of change in price leads to a larger percentage change in demand. And here PED is greater than 1. Coming to the fourth one, a larger percentage of change in price will bring about smaller change in demand. Here PED is lesser than 1. In this fifth one, unitary elasticity of demand, there will be equal percentage of change in both price and demand. If there is 10% of change in the price, it will lead to 10% of change in demand. These are all the classifications of price elasticity of demand. So please view this till the end. Subscribe to my channel, CV Study Circle. Share among your friends. Thank you.